Hey, hello, hi, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 7th. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, the bottom line here on Woodward Sports Network. Braylon Edwards, my friend, great to see you.
What's up, man? Hey, how was your weekend, man? It's been so long since I've seen you guys, man. It's like, Jesus, how was your weekend?
Braylon, I never realized how much I actually would miss you not being with you every day of the week. I went up north this past weekend, and the weather was so-so, but nonetheless, we were away, and the change of scenery always is great, but I understand you are a cooking fool, man. You can man that grill, huh?
Did a good job, man. I got a chance to see Shang-Chi yesterday, the Marvel's new movie, Marvel and Disney Studios. Kind of typical Disney movie where a journey, someone's running from their past or they're running towards their journey. But it was really well done. Excited to see they move him into the Avengers in the future. But did get a chance to cook all day Sunday, man. I started prepping the food at 10, and I have more respect for my parents and my sister now, like, on those grills, man. Like, my dad was there. He's in the studio. He'll tell you, like, I start prepping 10 a.m., and I didn't finish cooking probably until about 6:30. Salmon, lobster tails. We had some steak, some chicken. We had salads. We did it big, man. Got the families together. So yeah.
That's the way to do it, Braylon. Speaking of parents, there he is, too. Stan Edwards in for our weekly thing now.
You got to come up with a name.
I know,
for it.
Tuesdays with Stan or something.
Oh, that's not bad.
Tuesdays with Stan.
I like that. I like that.
Wolverine,
Maybe that can turn into a book too, like the local guy here in town.
Tuesdays with Maury.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey guys, great. Thanks for having me.
Great. Did you have a good weekend, Stan?
I had a great weekend. I had to go over someone's house and taste their food, and it was actually really, really good.
How about that? Hey, way to go. I mean, that's pretty good approval there. Maz, you good, buddy?
I'm good now. I'm with you guys.
Look at that.
Let it go. Let's do it.
So let's get it going, guys. And it is game week for the Detroit Lions, but nonetheless, we are going to start with a game that we actually saw over the weekend. It is the Michigan Wolverines 1-0 after beating Western Michigan 47-14. Blake Corum, 111 yards rushing, 14 rushes, and a touchdown. Michigan State, we'll get into the Spartans in a little bit too, but for us, all eyes are on Michigan. And I came out, Braylon, and I said I'd like to see a 42-14 kind of game for Michigan. It was 47-14. Yeah. And I think all you can do is look at what's in front of you. The Wolverines played a really solid game, and that's how good I feel about it. I do feel good about this team moving forward.
Yeah, what you wanted to see, and what I talked about saying, and I said they would win 38-21, and that actually ended up being the Michigan State score. But what you want to see is a couple things. You want to see Cade McNamara be protected. They didn't allow sacks. They didn't allow the defense of Western to get to him, so you check that box. I wanted to see some consistency in the run game. Well, they had over 300 yards of rushing. Haskins, the reverse. You see with Henning. You also see, like you said, Corum. They rushed the ball extremely well, over 300 yards. And then you want to see McNamara, just lead. I don't necessarily need to see him look like a Tom Brady guy with the Patriots, not even Michigan. Or I don't need to see him look like a Deshaun Watson or a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. You just want to see some consistency, and that's what he looked. When he was getting the ball out, he was leading the huddle, like he was taking charge in the huddle. Looked like everybody was looking at him when it was time to get a play in, get a play call, getting the ball out to his receivers in space. He did a good job of that. Only 9 of 11. So it's not like he threw for a ton of yards. I know he led the FBS in week 1 only on 11 passes, but it just looked comfortable. It looked natural. And on the other side of the ball, since 2017, we haven't seen a Michigan defense that were 7-man on a tackle, 8-man on a tackle, guys running over there, guys jumping to the plow, guys finishing the tackle, guys finishing, getting off the block, even though the play is not coming their way. And I did see that. Once again, it is Western Michigan, but these are things that they weren't seeing against Cincinnati, the Air Force, Army, games of that nature, similar games to this. They look really efficient in the way in which they were handling football, and you can see that the mind has shifted in terms of the way they want to approach games.
Stan Edwards, let me come to you as a former Michigan running back. How does 43 carries, 335 yards, and 3 touchdowns sound to you from this running game?
It sounds fantastic, and I'm super excited. I want to echo some of the things Braylon said and offer a cautionary tale as well. That first series, they looked so crisp and so sharp. Everybody looked very confident. To Braylon's point, efficient. I was, whoa. This is Michigan football. Now, what's funny about that is None of those guys on that team know what Michigan football is. Not one.
Right.
But they played Michigan football, and they look good. It was Western Michigan, but Western Michigan is a Division I team, and they're a good football team. So there's a little cautionary tale as to how well they played, how well we expect them to play in the future, or is that because it was a MAC team, let's not get too excited, let's hold your horses.
And that's kind of where I am a little bit too, because, you know, I'm out there rah-rah, hooting and hollering, go blue, Michigan this, Michigan that. But, you know, Western Michigan is, you know, they're an upper echelon Mid-American Conference team. I think we can all agree on that. And at the same time, you know, you saw the quarterback throw 11 passes, right? I mean, you can't come out and say, oh, Michigan's got their quarterback. Dude threw 11 passes, really not under much pressure, thanks to the really good play of the offensive line. I mean, how often is Michigan going to be able to rush the ball 43? How many more games on the schedule is Michigan going to be able to run the ball 43 times? I mean, you'd like that to be the case, but I just don't know if it's true. So I move forward with cautious optimism.
As you should. You should move forward with caution. And I'm to Michigan fans, I tell you as well, move forward with caution. Like, I did not say that, oh, Michigan has arrived. And I did not say that, oh, wow, this is that Heisman Trophy quarterback. What I simply said is, if you look at the way in which he commanded the offense, the way in which he called plays, and the way in which he got the ball out of his hand and into the receiver's hands, you know, we've struggled at the beginning of the season. Like, just remember Jake Rudock's first game and what he looked like under center. Remember Wilton Spate, what he looked like under center early on. Remember Corum. Remember Devin Gardner. So I'm saying, from that type of a early on first game of the season, he looked comfortable whether he threw 11 or whether he threw 15. We have to give Michigan a little bit more credit too than I think you might with a Western. Caleb Ellaby is a darn good quarterback. Like, even though I think he's just over 200 yards, number one receiver was out. Aiden Hutchinson, Ojabo got to him a little bit, routed him, but he still was able to make some throws, get away from some things. Had that been a regular quarterback, whether it be Division I, Big Ten, Division I, MAC, they would have got to the quarterback a lot more, and he would have had some interceptions, he would have had some turnovers, and the score and the stat sheet would have replicated that, or it would have shown that. But Caleb Ellaby was able to get the ball away. He was able to keep some of those drives alive. He was able to keep some of those plays alive with his feet and with his smarts. So this game could have been worse if Caleb Ellaby wasn't a better quarterback.
We also got to remember, we should give Michigan credit on here. Because what we seen yesterday, sometimes we didn't see against an Air Force.
Exactly.
Sometimes we didn't see against an Army. We saw them struggle against much lesser teams, and it was a head scratcher. They looked like they were the dominant team that they should have been for the past 7 years under Harbaugh. They came out and they played crisp, played ready. To your point, the way McNamara played, he didn't look like he was worried about anything. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with the ball. He understood his reads. He took the ball. He was on schedule. Everything looked sharp. Western Michigan, we don't know how good they might be. You know, so I'm very proud of what I saw.
And I think that's the point too, Stan, is you got to give these guys credit. You can only play who's in front of you. And they did what they had to do against the Western Michigan football team that, look, Michigan teams over the last 15 years, right? I mean, they didn't do this. They didn't manhandle teams that they were supposed to manhandle in the past. I mean, 15, a few 17, did, sure.
Yeah, but just only a few, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're out there losing to Toledo and stuff like that. So I think you do have to give them a lot of credit for this. Also, Braylon, you mentioned the defense. I really like the defense, and perhaps one of the things that I like about the defense most is that Western Michigan's coach came out afterwards and said, I really didn't know what they were doing out there. It took them till late in the third quarter to understand what Michigan was doing defensively. How many times did we talk about Greg Madison or Don Brown about how predictable their defensive scheme was? And I think for a coach on the other side to come out after the game and admit that he didn't know what Michigan was doing defensively, and he was kind of, you know, to use the analogy of a baseball analogy of a pitcher keeping the hitters off balance all day. Mike McDonald was doing that.
Yeah, that's a tribute to what they've accomplished in the in the preseason, the training camps, back in spring ball, the way in which they were able to get a new defense in. And, let's take a second to think about this. Harbaugh could have gone after anybody as it relates to the defensive coordinator position at Michigan. I'm sure he could have sold this job to plenty of people that he's coached with in the past, that he knows, plenty of guys that have come through Baltimore, plenty of guys all over the nation. But he chose McDonald for a reason. He was highly recommended by his brother, who, John Harbaugh, with a Super Bowl ring, I think he knows something about football, especially the defense. He came highly recommended. Harbaugh took a shot on him. And not just that they play good defense in the beginning of the year, in the opening game against Western, the guys were on point. Like, when you put in that many offenses, those many stunts, those many change up, you're switching, you're kind of all over the place. We're playing 4 at this point. Now we're 2. Now we're quarter half. Now we're man. We're 3. When you mix it up, you can confuse young players. Like, that's one of the things you can mess up. I don't know where it is. I should be over here. I'm over there. They were on point the whole game. Like, they were right where they needed to be in that wheelhouse. So congrats to him, or kudos to McDonald, for not only getting a new defense in there, but having his players execute it well.
And Stan, you mentioned the first offensive drive for Michigan. That first defensive drive, though.
Right.
Sorry, right back.
Oh, man.
Right. Here we go again. So I'm a little bit different with the defense. It was a little bit of, bend but don't break. They allowed a lot of short passes. When you allow a lot of short passes, you expect the defensive backs to come up and make the play. But when you do it against players that are not Western Michigan caliber players that can catch the ball and shake and take it 70 yards, or you go and you hit them, they don't go down. So they allowed a lot of short completions in there, although Western was not able to capitalize on it. I am concerned when you do it against better players. Washington did not play well against Montana. And before we get way too ahead of ourselves and start counting that game as a win, Washington has some probably 4- and 5-star players on their team. They're going to have some players on their team that are highly recruited. So I think we need to be careful. The defense, I'm still trying to make sure that I'm not getting ahead of myself by giving them too much praise.
No doubt.
I have some stuff on Washington when we get to it.
No doubt about that, Stan. And Braylon, absolutely, we're going to get into Washington. Also, guys, I want to ask you about Ronnie Bell. How much of a gut punch is that to this team this year? We'll get Maz included as well. Yeah, this is Woodward Sports Network. Hey guys, want to let you know about Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Guys, it was just a gut punch, I think, no doubt about it. Ronnie Bell out for the season with a knee injury. 1 catch, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, the punt return kind of really knocking the wind from your sails for this team. And Braylon, I want to ask you, as a former player, as a former guy on the team, when a senior captain leader, your best offensive player, in my opinion, goes down like that, how does that make the rest of the team feel? Where do you go from here?
See, this is where him being a captain is really going to show. Here's where him being voted by his peers, voted for by the coaches, being the captain on this 2021 football team is going to show. Because he's injured. He's out for the season. But that doesn't mean his mouth doesn't work. That doesn't mean, his eyes don't work. That doesn't mean he can't get in these guys' ears during practice. Hey, I see this. Make sure you're doing this. Or he's cheering on the sideline. He's watching film. So now it's a tough place to be. And I tore my ACL when I was in Cleveland, and it's always a tough place to be. Major injury. It takes away from your energy and everything. But now is where the second half starts. What are you going to be? I think he's a good enough leader where he'll still be out there with his players. I think he can still command a listening ear. He still can command helping these guys out and go forward. But it's tough when they're not in a situation like a Penn State or Ohio State or Alabama, where if they get a guy hurt, they can kind of pretty much reload. We saw Jalen Waddle, arguably the best wide receiver at Alabama, get hurt last year. And their second best wide receiver won the Heisman Trophy in Devontae Smith.
That.
So we're not a team that's built like that, but I think Michigan is building this up the right way, and I think they'll still have some success, but it is a tremendous blow for what they were trying to accomplish this year.
Stan, does it change the way you feel about Michigan this year with Ronnie Bell going out?
It does, but it shouldn't. And what I mean by that is watching Ronnie Bell just assimilate through Michigan program was a sight to see. Everybody should be a Ronnie Bell fan. I mean, he came in, he was not highly recruited, coming behind DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, coming behind Nico Collins, coming behind Tyreek Black. And he assimilated himself and found himself some way to get some catches and some targets with all those highly recruited, much bigger wide receivers than him. And he kept at it. He kept working, and you watched him get better right before your eyes. If I'm the coaching staff, he is front and center in every meeting. He is in the huddle while he's on crutches where the doctors allow him.
Yeah.
He is up on the sideline where he's not at risk of getting hurt, but making sure he's part of the game. His voice needs to be heard throughout this entire season, because when I saw that he was a captain, that told me the kind of person he is.
Silly question for you, Braylon.
I got something out to go. Go ahead.
Could this, and I'm really trying to pull a positive out of this, could this in any way help Cade McNamara or J.J. McCarthy in that, you don't have one guy anymore. You throw it to the open guy. You don't have to force it into a Ronnie Bell anymore because he's the star player and you got to feed him his. I mean, I'm just throwing
I get
darts here for a minute.
No, I get the conversation. I see what you're doing. I don't think this pertains to that because Ronnie Bell isn't the type of receiver.
You're right about
and this
that.
is no disrespect to Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell's not the type of receiver where he's 6'4" or he's 6. Height doesn't matter anymore. Where he's just an absolute stud and everyone in the country is scared of him. So that's my go-to guy. Like with Calvin and Matt Stafford. Like now, when that happened with Stafford and Calvin, it was different. He had to learn how to Nate Burleson. He had to learn how to kind of go through his other wide receivers. I don't think this changed because Ronnie Bell wasn't the number one receiver in the country.
And he's not
Did you see that one
kind
hand?
of guy.
Did you see that one hand catch he made on the sideline?
Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. What I would say, though, is this is very interesting. It's similar to 97 when Eric Mays got hurt. Eric Mays is the captain of that 97 team, and he got hurt. And where was he at the whole year? Who got carried off the field after the 97 championship was Eric Mays because his leadership was there. He was front and center in the meetings. He was there at Oosterbaum Fieldhouse, for walkthroughs. He was there in the morning as he's getting rehab, as other guys are kind of just getting some treatment, talking to him and walking the guys through the game and the mindset and the process. Like he was the unsung hero mentally of that 97 national championship team, and it could be a similar situation for Ronnie Bell in Michigan this year.
Well, I disagree with you a little bit, and I agree with you a little bit. Ronnie Bell is the number one receiver in the country for Michigan for this team. Mm-hmm. He is that important to this team. And what I mean by that is I think he's the only person on that offense, at least at a skill position, that has been proven that you can trust. All those other guys have not done anything to show you they can trust. They're all skillful. I think they'll step up. But the burden is really going to be on everybody else in that huddle now is can you pick up the slack emotionally with your hustle and your play to match what Ronnie Bell gave you.
And I didn't want to disrespect Ronnie Bell in that regard. He's definitely number one to Michigan, and he's definitely proven it, like you said. He's been there. He's proven it. He is the guy that you can trust. I was more so saying it from the standpoint, when I was watching the game before he got hurt, I didn't see an overemphasis on getting the ball toRonnie Bell. I mean, he made one of the best catches I've seen in Michigan history that did not count.
Like, it was. How is that OPI, man? Come on.
Yeah, they were fighting. It was similar to Ohio State in 2002 with me and Chris Gamble. But, he's number one in Michigan. But I didn't see an overemphasis to get him the ball. I saw a flow of offense, and we'll pop it here, we'll dump it here, we're running with AJ, as opposed to myself. I 14 passes by the time 13. Jason Avant, when it was his time to get 1,000 yards, we're seeing him go to him 20 times a game, Chad Henne. So I didn't see that. That's what I mean by it won't hurt, because it wasn't an overemphasis to get him the ball anyway.
All right, let's get to Washington. I mean, all eyes were pointed to this game to really give an indication or get an indication of what Michigan football was going to be, an early indication here in 2021. They somehow lose to FCS College, Montana. Yeah. I think they're the Grizzlies. I'm not even sure they are, Maz says. 13-7. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, Michigan is a 6-point favorite against the Huskies this weekend. But I'll tell you this much. Do not sleep on the Washington Huskies or assume for 1 second that this is an automatic W, Braylon, for Michigan.
No, it won't be automatic W. And in fact, they really need to do some homework and not rest on that WMU win. It's over with. Get past it. After we talk about today, you shouldn't talk about it anymore. Washington is still a very exciting football team. My dad said it. They still have some 5 stars, some 4 stars. Like I saw the running back Newton Jr. Guy runs. He's an animal. He's a horse. Like I'm talking about. Jimmy gets through there. He pushes the pile. He only had a couple of carries, and with those 15 carries, I mean, he had 70 yards. But the runs that I saw, they were getting first downs on third down. Like it's a guy that can play. The quarterback Morris. Montana did a good job of knowing they weren't going deep, and they kept everything in front of them. They gave them the 10-yard pass all game. They gave them the 12-yard pass all game. But they have some receivers. They have some guys that run slants, and you got to be careful because they can get yards after the catch. And Morris puts it right on their jersey numbers. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions. That's partly why they still lost by 6, and then they missed a field goal. But they were a better team, and sometimes you just come out and you play down to your opponent, and it's no excuse. But it happens. I remember my sophomore year, we played Utah, and we beat them 10-7. You know, my senior year, we beat San Diego State 14-10.
Human nature.
So it happens, but they just got caught. Like sometimes even the year Ohio State won national championship, they had to stop Cincinnati on first and goal 4 times in a row to beat them in the opener, and that's the year they won a national championship. So these games happen. Michigan shouldn't pay too much attention to it, and they should pay attention to how talented and skilled those guys are on the other side.
Yeah, I think we also need to keep in mind that Washington was coming in ranked a top 20 team. Washington themselves in their football building think, hey, how do we get ourselves to the top 10? And I think we got to beat Michigan to get to the top 10. So I wouldn't be surprised if all summer Washington was looking at Michigan and overlooking
trap game,
big time trap game, and they overlooked them and they got caught. To his point, so I'm not so sure that the Washington that played Montana is going to be the Washington that'll be here this Saturday.
Did we learn anything about Jim Harbaugh and his coaching staff this week? Get his guys ready to play a Washington team that is, downtrodden, losing to Montana, and your guys are beating their chests. Here I am. Can we learn anything from Jim Harbaugh this week?
I don't know that we can yet. What I will say is, again, when I saw how efficient this team played Saturday, I said, Jim's back. Mm-hmm. I did. I said, Jim's back. That he's putting his fingerprints on this team. But again, it's only one game. We may learn something totally different, come midnight Saturday night.
Yeah, I think we can learn something from this game from Harbaugh and his staff in the sense of, you saw what they did against Western Michigan, and like you said, it doesn't matter who you were playing. You played at an efficient level. You see things change, finishing on defense, on offense. They were finishing blocks, so that's something that got better. Now, what I would say we could see some improvement is if they do the same similar thing against Washington. I don't care that Washington lost to Montana. This was a top-ranked team a week ago. I don't know where they're ranked now. They still have really good talent. They're going to come in pissed off that they lost that game against Montana, and they're going to try to rain on somebody's parade. If I see Michigan in this game, once again, Cade McNamara is controlling the line of scrimmage with the play calling. If the running backs, if they're splitting it up, very nice and easy with Corum as well as Haskins. If they're finding ways to get A.J. Henning involved, and getting other receivers involved. Dylan, for instance, the 69-yard touchdown from J.J. McCarthy in the fourth. If they still look that part against Washington and they win again handily, I think you learn that they aren't resting on their laurels, and they are talking to these guys, and they are trying to promote Michigan football and getting better. Like, at the end of the day, 1 week at a time. You want to see improvement 1 week at a time. So if they do show some improvement, I think you can see something.
We do have a shuffle at the top of the AP Top 25 just out. Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Oklahoma 4, Texas A&M 5, and Clemson dropped 4 spots. They are number 6. Michigan not in the AP Top 25 just yet. They fall to number 27 if you count others receiving votes. It goes Arizona State number 25, and then Auburn, and then Michigan.
How about Montana? Where's Montana?
Montana is not ranked. Dropped from the rankings this week.
Where's Tulane? Where's Tulane?
LSU Indiana, Washington, and Louisiana. So 4 drop out. Virginia Tech gets in there. Arizona State gets in there. UCLA goes from unranked to number 16 in the country.
Chip Kelly
against
How
LSU,
about
man.
that, Chip Kelly?
We got to talk about that game
Stan,
as well.
you got any parting thoughts for us? Wise words of wisdom?
I honestly think that Michigan will win by 12 to 14 points. And the reason why I say that is it's very difficult to travel 2 time zones. And a lot of people don't take that in, for example. When Washington coming back here and playing in the Eastern time zone, I think it's going to have a big effect on them early in the game. And I think Michigan's going to get out and get way ahead.
Hey, big ups to Dad before he goes. This Saturday night, September 11th, not only do we honor the men and women that stood up for New York when we had that infamous tragedy, September 11th, 2001.
Yep.
My father's 1980 Michigan Rose Bowl winning team will be honored as well. 1980 won the conference, finished with 10-2, including a thriller last-second field goal loss to Notre Dame and those guys in South Bend. But Dad, tell us a little bit about this team and what made this team special, this 10-2 team.
That's the best team to ever play in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wait a minute. All right.
now.
I wasn't expecting
Forget
that. I got
that team
I got
was
phone
very
calls
good.
to make.
Who was the fullback?
With the fullback, I don't know, some guy that kind of worked his way in there. What was interesting about that team is that here's what's interesting, and this is what a lot of people don't know about Bo Schembechler. He was always this gruff, my way or the highway, stubborn guy. We lost 2 of our first 3 games. He came in and changed the entire offense, something we had never practiced, and it took us a while to get us going. He told the defense, hey, we're making a change here on offense. We're going from option quarterback to pocket passing and power football with John Wangler at quarterback. And he told the defense, you got to give us a few weeks to get settled in here. Once we do that, and when we got rolling, we really got rolling. We won the national rushing title. We almost had 3,000 yards rushing. We didn't pass the ball that much, and our defense was outstanding. That was the year that Bill McCartney introduced the dime package to college football. And so that team, I don't know if we were the best team to ever play in Ann Arbor, but we were pretty darn good at the end of the season.
Last 22 quarters of the season, 0 points for the opposition.
Look at that, man. Whoa. How great is that? Getting honored on Saturday night. God bless you guys, and I'm sure that's going to be fun conversations to have.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Maz, how you doing over there?
I'm great, man. I'm sitting with Stan.
I know, that's your guy. That's your guy. All right, Stan, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you. There was an announcement made on Saturday before the game. Right? Before the game about the announcing crew from the University of Michigan. I want to get your thoughts.
We also got to get into some Michigan State stuff. They played too. So we got to get some Michigan State stuff.
And I'll tell you this much. They looked really, really good. So we'll get into all of that. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Do you want to go to the game, the opener, this weekend, Sunday, September 12th? The Detroit Lions take on the San Francisco 49ers. And guess what? You could potentially have tickets to go. All you have to do is submit a Man Chill Out video, hashtag Man Chill Out. Submit that to us at Woodward Sport or at Bottom Line WSN. Submit us a video by Friday tonight. Get us a Man Chill Out. Talk about something you don't like, you disagree with, whatever it is. Get it to us by the 9th on Friday, and you could be going to the Lions versus the 49ers. But you know why? That's because we here at WSN, we love you guys.
And if you don't know what a Man Chill Out is, you're going to want to stick around. We'll do our Man Chill Outs coming up in about 20 minutes from now. Maz, I know you love this stuff, and Braylon, I'm not sure where you are on announcers for games.
I'm into it.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
I think
to a certain extent.
I think Tom Mazawey watches games and listens to games for the announcer.
Joe Tess on that Notre Dame game, he made that game for me.
But it's real though. He makes a good point because you listen to Gus Johnson. I think Gus Johnson is one of the ones that does it amazing now. Like I watched him call the Wisconsin game, and he added that level. You know, Mike Tirico when he was doing Michigan games when they were good. You know, and hopefully we can get back to that because the energy was there, the biasness, but the energy was there. So I definitely get what he's saying.
I'm not listening to Beth Mowens. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
and I know you're not. I know you're not. Listen, look.
I feel bad for the Michigan State fans.
I understand.
Why do they have to get her?
I understand it. Look, so Jim Brandstatter, Dan Deerdorf announced during the Michigan game on Saturday that this would be it for them. This is Brandy's tweet. Thanks for all the good wishes. Began the last season of Michigan football broadcasts in a win versus Western Michigan yesterday. Dan and I are hanging them up after the season. Thanks to all for your years of faithful support. Can't thank you enough. Go Blue. So Brandy and Deerdorf will be out. And I'll tell you this much. I don't know where you guys are in the broadcasters. Michigan, in my opinion, has got to shoot for the moon.
Yeah,
they won't, though.
And again, make fun of me all you want when I say this. We are freaking Michigan football. Okay? Hey, go ahead. Go ahead all you want. I can just see it now.
Lather up. Go ahead.
Oh, I can just see it now. Oh, the lather.
Here you go.
Sprinkle the stuff in there that I can feel it. Oh, yeah. We are freaking Michigan football. Go out and get Gus Johnson. Go out and get Mike Tirico. Go out and shoot for
But how much you gonna pay? How much you gonna pay Mike Tirico to do games on Saturday? He's getting paid way too much now.
Go out and get Joe Davis.
I don't like him.
Whatever.
What I need is
reach for somebody.
What I need someone that we know. I also need that Michigan spirit. I just need energy too. I think they talk about Michigan not being allowed stadium, not being allowed broadcast. I've known Brandy since before I was born. Like Jim Brandy's always been a friend of the family. Obviously, he played at Michigan with Deerdorf. I know Dan as well. Like I love those guys, but now it's time to the Tony Romos, like the more energy and bring something different. You know, we'll talk about college atmosphere energy later on in the show, but this is how you add to it. The color commentary. I think this is a chance to reach for someone new, past the energy. Marcus Ray for all that. Like Marcus Ray would be good. I might be too biased. He might be too opinionated. But I think this is a chance to bring some new life to U of M as it relates to play calling and in-game commentary.
And I honestly don't believe, and maybe Maz, correct me if I'm wrong, I honestly don't believe you have to have some affiliation with Michigan to get this job.
You don't, but that's what they're going to want to go towards. And they probably will. When Frank did the games, Frank Beckman, I thought he was second to none. Him and Brandstatter were a phenomenal duo. Yeah, sure, they're homers. Listen to Bob Ufer.
Well,
the guy was awesome. Every local guy is going to be a homer. Listen to all the NFL announcers across
You're supposed to be a homer.
That's what you are. That's what you are. But Frank and Jim were great. I don't think Jim should have done the play-by-play after Frank left. Jim was a phenomenal color analyst. Dan Deerdorf is a phenomenal color analyst. They've got to go out and get a guy. And I remember in the WJR days, Dan Dickerson subbed for Frank several times. There's a guy that would be a phenomenal guy on the microphone, if you ask me. Yes, the Tigers could let him off on a Saturday. And he might not be able to do it because now he has got a lot of stuff going on with Michigan State as well. Who knows? Maybe he'll be the next Michigan State announcer after George Blaha hangs it up. I don't know. Strayhorn is good there as well. You got to go out and find the right guy for that. And I think you got to hip it up a little.
Can I just make a small deviation from what I said? And I don't want.
Yeah.
I meant affiliated with the university in terms of the play-by-play. I think the analyst should absolutely be a former player.
How about our kicker? Who's our favorite kicker?
How about our favorite wide receiver?
Jay Feely?
Jay Feely.
What about Braylon Edwards?
What about him?
Seriously.
But then I think it comes back to who wants to do it. Like, the people that you want, they may not necessarily want to do the job. Like, if I'm Jay Philly, I'm working for CBS. That means I'm year-round, and you can plug me with NFL, college, et cetera, et cetera. Like, do I have time to come to Michigan and focus on Michigan? You know, like, because even if you're just doing the games, you got to fly in to do the game. You also have to be on point and know what's going on with Michigan from top to bottom, from Sunday to Saturday. So,
is that something you'd like to do?
It's not in my wheelhouse right now. I'm enjoying being with you guys. I think that.
Well, yeah, but in addition to,
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah,
man. No one's offered me the job, but if that was available, I don't know if that's something I want to do. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I would be open. I would be open. Yeah.
My goodness, I just think it's such a big job, and if you look at Frank Beckman had this job for so long, and before him it was Bob Ufer. These jobs don't open up every year, so when they do,
real estate in certain places.
There are people lined up for this job. They've been lined up for years.
Begging.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think if you're Michigan, I think you have to shoot for the moon. I do. And by the moon, I think I am talking about guys like Tirico and Gus Johnson. And I don't know what their obligations are contractually with Fox, with Gus Johnson, and NBC with
But I don't know
Mike
anybody
Tirico,
that does. I don't know anybody that does play-by-play for a specific team that works with CBS, Fox, or NBC or ABC.
I think Braylon, where I'm getting at is, once you get. If you're how old's Mike Tirico? How old's Gus Johnson? I mean, you're
50s,
in your
60.
Yeah, you're in your late 50s, early 60s. I mean, at some point you get sick of traveling all over the country and not seeing your family, for months at a time because
Mike
you're always
is an
on the
Ann Arbor
road.
guy.
You know what I mean? Do you know what a cake job it is to still get a hefty salary if you're broadcasting Michigan football, a hefty salary, and just
8 games a year,
and do the Michigan football games, and you're with your family. I mean, for a lot of people, that means a lot as you get older.
And your travel is mainly in a car.
Yeah.
To all the games. Mainly.
So I just think that can't be understated. Mike G says, Braylon, analyst, Ryan in the box, Maz on the field.
I love it. Thanks, Mike.
I love it. We got to get Maz one of those setups like Booger McFarland had
the
on Monday Night
Maz-mobile.
Football, like the Maz-mobile. Just have you in some skyscraper.
Right.
That'd be nice.
Hey, guys, want to get into some Michigan State talk? They looked really, really, really good this weekend.
From the get-go.
Yeah. Right off the jump. We'll get into the Spartans.
Don't get Alex excited. He's in there salivating in the booth.
Right, the mayor over here, Alex Mayer.
He's going to shorten out the booth.
I'm telling you. We'll do the Spartans. We'll attack it next. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Hey, gang, it's Maz for our studio sponsor and friends, MyBookie.ag. You know the deal. Get on MyBookie right now for all of your bets. You don't even have to leave your home to do it. College football in full action right now. Michigan against Washington. Michigan favored by 6 in this game. How about Michigan State and Youngstown State? That game's off the board right now, but I'm sure there'll be a line on before the end of the week. Lions week. They're going to play the 49ers. They're getting 7.5. Bet all those games and more right there on MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward. They will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $1,000. You can put in $10. You can put in $1,000. They're going to match it. That's free money in your account to do what you want with it. It's winning season always on MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget, if you have a gambling problem, call the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 800-522-4700.
Michigan State on Friday night just completely walloped Northwestern, and the game wasn't, as close as the score indicated, and it happened right from the start. This is the first play of the game.
Almost thought he was the favorite the entire offseason.
Toe has met rudder, and we are underway, and the first touch is for Kenneth Walker. And a
Kenneth Walker, 23 rushes,
That boy was
264
moving.
yards, 4 touchdowns, including that 75-yard touchdown on the first play of the game. Braylon, I will tell you, look, I was impressed with the Spartans, and I don't care how good or bad Northwestern is, that is a team to me that looked ready to play.
No, they definitely look ready to play. And it doesn't matter how bad Northwestern was. They're a Big Ten team. Not only are they a Big Ten team, they are the returning Western Division champs. Not only are they the returning Western Division champs, Pat Fitzgerald has won 10 games in 3 out of the last 4 seasons.
And they were home.
Which Evanston has become a tough place to play. It's not an easy place to play. I mean, it's still 14 fans, but those 14 fans are loud and they're aggressive. What I like to see in this, man, is they ran the ball extremely well, and Kenneth Walker is a stud. Like, he's not just a good running back for Michigan State. He's not a good running back in the Big Ten. This guy is a stud. This guy is one of the best running backs so far. What I've seen, he's fast, he's elusive. He makes guys miss at the point of attack. Like, he breaks tackles as well. He runs hard. He's a good guy. Can catch the ball out the backfield. So I'm excited to that. If you pay attention to the Big Ten championships over the years, typically the best team, the team that wins, they have the best running back. Saquon Barkley in Penn State, Jonathan Taylor in Wisconsin, J.K. Dobbins in Ohio State, and the list goes on. So to have that resonates well with the future of what Michigan State can do. I'm just interested to see the passing game. Well, I want to see the pass. You don't have to show much pass when you rush like you did again with Kenneth Walker. But C.J. Mosley and Reed, they still have 50 yards each, 4 catches. So I think building that, Michigan State could be dangerous.
I'm so glad you went there, Braylon, because we talked about this with Michigan too. The rushes for the Spartans, 37 rushes, 326 yards. For Michigan, it was 43 rushes for 335 yards. So both teams did it with running the football. Peyton Thorne got the start for Michigan State. 15 of 25, 185 yards and a touchdown. It's not terrible at all. It's not terrible, but again, I think if we're going to say it with Michigan, did you learn anything about the quarterback play with Michigan State? Look, I mean, he didn't have to be that impressive, and to me, he wasn't all that impressive. But when you rush for 326 yards, you don't have to be.
2 things I would say. One, actually, is a question. If I would have told you, I guess it's a statement. If I would have told you Michigan State will rush for 329 yards opening day and wouldn't have more rushing yards than Michigan, you thought I was blowing smoke.
Crazy.
You thought if I would have told you they were going to rush for 329, you thought I was blowing smoke. So shout out to Michigan and Michigan State for the run game. You guys excelled at. With Peyton Thorne, you just want to see he has better receivers than the average school in the Big Ten. Like Reed and Mosley, I like them, especially Reed. Reed's come back. He's the leading receiver of the team last year. I like his athletic ability. He goes up and he gets balls. He makes plays. So I think Thorne has the easier road as it relates to McNamara. He knows his 2 wide receivers. He has his 1, he has his 2, he has his studs. So I think he'll progress faster. We're going to have to see what happens with Cade McNamara, but I think he'll progress faster. And I think, once they get it together, man, you mix that run with that pass, Michigan State can be dangerous. And it also talks about having that first game of the season be a Big Ten win. It's a Big Ten win. It's Michigan played well, but it's still Western Michigan. Michigan State played exceptionally well, and it was Northwestern, and it's on the road. So I think that gives them more, that firepower it needs. You puff your chest out a little bit.
You sure you don't want to be an analyst? Because you just hit it right on the money. I mean, and to get a guy like Kenneth Walker to come over from the ACC, that's some Mel Tucker magic there. I love this guy. This team is ready to play. Love the white helmets with the script state on it. They were ready to play on a big stage on a Friday night. They're going to get Youngstown State this week. We'll see what they do with them.
Isn't that how, if you're a guy like Mel Tucker or any coach that is new to a particular university, isn't that how, and we learned it with Jim Harbaugh too, actually, when he came to Michigan in 2015, don't you get good quicker, forgive the way I'm saying that, by getting and taking advantage of that transfer portal? I mean, Mel Tucker with Kenneth Walker, Jake Rudock in Michigan in 2015. Yeah. Don't you just take advantage of that transfer portal and you get guys and you just kind of get ready-made players quicker?
Yeah, because a lot of times, guys, you don't know what a player can go through at a college before he comes to another college. I saw a lot of guys when I was at Michigan. You see guys, and for some reason they're just not into it. Maybe their best friend leaves the team. Maybe something happens with them and the coach's relationship. Maybe something happens. There are a lot of good players where something may happen, maybe an injury, and they just never feel like the team trusts them again, or they have confidence in them again. So a lot of things can happen, and there are a lot of good players that are transferring around the country and going other places. I think the teams that have success with those players, though, Ryan, because it's a dangerous slope, you can't just depend on the transfer portal. I think you'll see some teams try to depend on that, like, well, we'll just wait to see what happens in the offseason. Who can we pull? Who can we pluck? The teams that don't just depend on that, but they can find a couple nuances here and there, those are the teams that have success, like Alabama or Oklahoma.
When you look at the Spartans, though, and we just talked about it with University of Washington and the quote-unquote trap game, even though it was the first game of the season for them, with Michigan on the horizon for Washington, they probably were like, screw Montana, we got Michigan next week. Do you see any of that coming from Mel Tucker Spartans? They've got Youngstown State this week, sandwiched between a road game at Northwestern to open up the season, and then next week at number 22, Miami. By the way, if I may, the Michigan State Spartans are also in the others receiving votes in the latest AP poll out. They would be number 36 in the country. So they got 33 votes for in the others receiving votes category. Again, Michigan would be 27th, Michigan State 36. So, but do you see a trap game this week for the Spartans?
Yeah, interesting enough with those votes, you can never be too sure about Michigan State. Like, Michigan State does this type of stuff. They do this type of stuff all the time, where they'll get a big win, a big open, they'll get 8-0, 4-0, and then they'll turn into Michigan State. So let's be very leery, and let's wait till after they play. Let's wait till after they play Miami in 2 weeks. It could be a trap game, but I think with Mel Tucker, who I know personally, he was on the Cleveland Browns staff when I was there, was at Ohio State. He knows his Big Ten. He knows Youngstown State by being down there at Ohio State as well. I think he knows what could potentially happen if he tries to overlook them and go to University of Miami. And I don't see him doing that.
The home of the sweater vest.
I don't think this is a team that can afford to overlook anybody based off what they did last year, based off what they've done in the last 4 years. You can't overlook anybody. You got some good thing. You got something good going with Kenneth Walker in the offense, and even the defense is starting to play again, like that 2017 defense getting to the quarterback. So I don't think they can afford to overlook Youngstown State, and I don't think Mel Tucker allows them to overlook Youngstown State.
If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, we're flashing it up right now. 23 carries, 264 yards, 4 touchdowns for Kenneth Walker III.
It's like DeAndre Cobb, man.
Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, and well-deserved. And Michigan State always seems to have a really, really high-powered running back.
How about that stat that he joins former Wisconsin, now Denver running back Melvin Gordon as the guy that can get 4 touchdowns. There's the stat.
250 and 4.
250 and 4. Not bad.
Crazy thing is Mike Hart had a lot of 250 rushing yards games, and we just never gave him touchdowns. Like, Mike would always complain and say, so I get you close and then you just score. I was like, well, I mean, you're a freshman. That's what we do.
Oh, my gosh. That is great. But, yeah, I mean, I think you just really have to feel good about both Michigan and Michigan State. They took care of business in week 1, and we could be gearing up for a really exciting college football season around here.
Yeah, what I'm excited about, I know we're going to get into it, I guess I'll prep it right now, is I'm excited to see the teams that are traditionally good, or the teams that are traditionally do something that you look to see. They look like the way they're supposed to look. Michigan, they beat up on a MAC school. That's what I'm supposed to see. Michigan State, when they have a good running back and a decent quarterback, they go and they get wins on the road. That's what I saw. I saw Georgia and Clemson. Georgia beat Clemson. You see UCLA, who used to be a powerhouse in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and now they get a big win against LSU. So you're seeing some Notre Dame.
I want to get into that.
Yeah, Florida State even came back.
I want to get into some college football over the weekend in the 3 o'clock hour, no doubt about that, because there were a lot of good things to watch over the weekend, and there were a lot of eyebrow-raising things. Yeah. And I'll tell you, in the 3 o'clock hour, I thought my man Chill Out from Friday was going to come
true. That'd been your second one.
Oh, my gosh.
The Green Wave.
Like, come on, Green green wave.
Why are they wearing light blue, by the way? They're the green wave for
I
crying
know.
out
Why
loud.
do they do that?
Everybody's trying to switch it up. You get teams that wear black
Oh
now
my
that have
gosh.
nothing to do
Yes.
with black.
We've got to talk about this too
Agreed.
coming up. We've got to talk about this coming up. But first, it is Man Chill Out. And guys, look, if you want to win some Lions tickets, you got to send us your Man Chill Outs. We will demonstrate for you exactly how to do that next. Ermanni and Edwards. We got Maz in the house too. Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom Team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for Legacy Partners Insurance. Nobody wants to shop for insurance. We all complain about it, but why not put it in the hands of people that know what they're doing? A local agency that knows the local insurance market, that's Legacy Partners Insurance. They've been doing it for over 100 years, so why not trust them? You can. Give them a call, 586-209-4106. Not only that, they are an independent agent, and they'll shop for you. They make the carriers compete for your business. Get online right now. It is legacypartnersins.com/Woodward Sports. Takes you to a Team Maz page. Fill out your information and let somebody give you a call and give you a chance to save some money. Hundreds, maybe thousands a year could be in your pocket. Give Legacy Partners Insurance a chance. Make sure you tell them Woodward Sports and the Bottom Line sent you.
Oh, man, do you feel that head bob right there? Do you feel it?
Nice and
Can you feel it?
Nice and slow way to creep
man.
into that 3 o'clock hour.
Oh,
slow creep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are giving away tickets to the Lions game against the 49ers coming up. In
less than a week away, man. We're here.
It is Sunday, and what we're going to do is we are giving the tickets to our best Man Chill Out entry. Yeah. All you got to do is go to Woodward Sports on Twitter, whatever the case may be. Send us a video of your Man Chill Out on anything you want to chill out about. Yeah. And we will demonstrate that for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time of the program that we like to call Man Chill Out.
You think it's funny?
Chill, Daddy.
Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
I'll take the honors today, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I love my team. I love my fan base. But please, Michigan fans are angry, apparently, that Jim Harbaugh had Ronnie Bell returning punts. Okay? Almost going as far to blame Jim Harbaugh for Ronnie Bell's injury, season-ending knee injury. And I'll tell you this much. You can blame Jim Harbaugh for a lot of things, okay?
This ain't one of them.
Just blame him for the things that he does. Like I always tell people, I will do enough to stick my foot in my mouth. Don't skew something that I didn't say. You know what I mean? I'll put my foot in my mouth more times than not. Okay,
See, I do it my own self.
Yeah, right. I'll do it my own self. Don't tell me I said something that I didn't say, kind of thing. Okay, and I'll use that same sort of deal for Jim Harbaugh. He will do enough this season that you can blame him for. Do not blame him for putting Ronnie Bell back to return punts because. And Jim Harbaugh even said this. He didn't say this part. I'm saying this part. You are not a fan of Michigan football if you don't understand that Michigan football has their best player returning punts, i.e. Jabril Peppers at one time. You ever heard of a guy named Charles Woodson?
Desmond Howard.
You ever heard of a guy named Desmond Howard?
Yeah. Ty Streets and Amani Toomer used to return.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm going to make this short and sweet. To anybody out there blaming Jim Harbaugh for Ronnie Bell returning punts and ending his season with a knee injury because of it, I will tell you, man, chill out.
Yeah, what you're saying, man, is Ryan, what you're saying is you're seeing the fans getting nervous because they finally were seeing some success with Michigan. They saw things changing right before their eyes in the Western Michigan game. They saw, completions. They saw yards rushed for. They saw getting to the quarterback. They saw aggressiveness. Like, they started to see Michigan football back. And then the guy who was the best player, on offense at least, and Ronnie Bell, he gets hurt. And now all of a sudden, why was he out there? He shouldn't have been out there. Like, look at Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush returned kicks and punts as he played running back, as he rushed for the highest. Like, that's always been a staple. Now, with Michigan not being as loaded on offense or at the skill position, maybe as the season progresses, somebody can show, and then they can give him less and less reps. But at this current time, at the beginning of the season, nobody has impressed them more to return in the punt game and to handle kicks. So I say to that, man, you guys got to listen to Ryan and chill out. Just relax a little bit.
Seriously, man, chill out. Maz, you want to go?
I do. I want to bring up the Notre Dame game, which I thoroughly enjoyed with Joe Tess on the mic and Greg McElroy.
You love Joe Tessitore,
I do.
Man.
I love Joe Tess. Joe Tess is a big game to me. They didn't give him a chance on Monday Night Football. They stuck him with 2 rookies, and they said, "Go ahead, try to be good."
I played with Greg McElroy. I like Greg.
I think Mac needs some work on the color commentating, but nonetheless, that Notre Dame game was phenomenal. Yeah, I was rooting for Florida State. They were the underdog at home. And we're going to talk about their in-game celebrations as well, which I think is great. But nonetheless, here's where I'm going to go. End of the game, the beautiful, I think it was Molly McGrath. No, it wasn't Molly McGrath. It was another sideline reporter. Got in touch and talked with Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame head coach, former Grand Valley head coach back in the day. Brian Kelly. And he kind of put his foot in his mouth trying to quote the great John McKay, the head coach of the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they went 0-26 to start their NFL career. Check this out.
You think of your team's ability to withstand Florida State's impressive comeback?
Yeah, I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed after tonight. I mean, we just didn't execute very well, and
what he meant to say was the old John McKay, when they asked him, how do you feel about your team's execution? He says, I'm in favor of it. In other words, they couldn't get out of their own way in Tampa. Brian Kelly was trying to be funny. There are people that wanted to cancel him the minute he stopped talking. I mean, are you kidding me? Man, chill out. He's having fun. He made a mistake.
Yeah, I agree, and it's some people are grandfathered in, and you see, Brian Kelly's one of those. They're trying to change the culture. Now, you see Belichick having fun a little bit. You see Nick Saban, some of the older coaches that you see have fun. Like, you know what he meant. You know it was a movie reference, and if you didn't, then it's too young, so you shouldn't be judging. But was it really that big of a deal? Like, sometimes I go against what Matt says in the cancel culture because I get it. This is one I'm all on board with what he says. I thought people shut up.
Seriously, man, look.
Shut up.
If you think for 1 second that Brian Kelly is in favor of having his entire Notre Dame football team,
but he said it,
executed, you need to have your head examined just a little bit.
Can we say what we usually say?
I'm ready.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
What's your quote that I quote?
I'm offended that you're offended by what he said.
Amen.
Yeah, that was pretty.
It's all you, Bray.
Seriously.
Mine's is. I know I keep using the Cowboys. This might be
you hate the Cowboys.
This might be the third time.
Get off there, man.
You hate
Get off the
Cowboys,
star.
But this is a good one. Hold on. You guys have run back some topics as well. But this is a good one though. The Dallas Cowboys are opening up the year yet again this Thursday. They're opening up against Tom Brady and the Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I am pissed at this consistency that the Cowboys get so many games. I think they have 6 national games this year, 6 primetime games this year. The Cowboys stunk it up last year. They stunk it up the year before that. They blew a playoff bye 3 years ago. They stunk it up the year before that. Like, the Cowboys have consistently stunk the joint up, and we keep rewarding them with opening day big primetime games, whether it's on Sunday night, whether it's Monday Night Football, whether it's a Thursday night game. Now, here they are playing this Thursday night. Just listen to some of these other games. You got the Dolphins and the Patriots. That could have been a great Thursday night opener.
Tua versus Mac Jones. How about that?
Well, you got to keep this in mind, Bray, as you go down this list. The Super Bowl champ always opens on Thursday night.
Is it always?
Yes.
But they just changed that with Denver and Baltimore.
Are you positive, Maz?
I'm 100%
Denver
positive.
and Baltimore, because they did. Yeah, Denver. He's right, because Denver and Baltimore did that deal where Baltimore won, but they still had to go out to Denver, which everybody got upset about.
I'm fact-checking him.
Go ahead.
I will.
You're wasting your time.
You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it had to be them. I'm just upset that they just get so many national championships. I mean, not national championships. They just get so many national games per year. I understand they're America's team, and when they made Texas Stadium,
are they?
They'll always be America's team. From this one quote, you know, why is there a hole in the roof? Well, they made the hole in Texas Stadium so that guy can look down and look at his Cowboys. So from that quote back by Staubach in the 80s, they'll always be America's team. It's 70s, but I don't think they need that many national games per year. You got to earn national games. I think you should have to earn them. So with that, I say to the NFL scheduling committee, man, chill out.
Love it. All right, guys. And that is Man Chill Out for this Tuesday, September 7th. If you'd like to send your Man Chill Out on anything you want, feel free to send it in to us on our Twitter page. Absolutely.
Win some tickets.
Running out of time.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big announcement to make coming up at 3:36. We've got the extra chair next to Maz ready for that at 3:36. Corey?
Is Corey coming in?
Not coming in
man,
for that. We'll get to Corey later in the week, but we do have a pretty darn big announcement, I think, coming up at 3:36. We'll get to that. We'll get into some Lions talk as well. But something that you guys want to do some college football next? Because there was something over the weekend that this was phenomenal in my opinion.
Atmospheres.
Let's do it.
And it's getting... I don't know if it's getting hammered or not, but I thought it looked pretty cool. We'll do that next, right? Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey guys, let's be honest. We like the simple stuff, don't we? Yeah, all we want is football 5 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like the Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime as well. It is wicked awesome. One thing we did not see in 2020 were completely full stadiums. And I will tell you, it was absolutely electrifying to see college football stadiums filled again. And you know, however you feel about COVID, don't even want to go there. The scenes were what the scenes were.
Yeah.
Whether you think that's unsafe or not.
Don't go.
There you go. So which college atmosphere was the best? We're going to play a little clip for everybody here. We're just going to go down the line here. How about Michigan singing Mr. Brightside?
I was there.
Did you sing?
But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my eager eyes.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm Mr. Brightside.
I see you.
Nice, right?
I want to wait till the end after we play them all, so that I can comment, because I appreciate that. I appreciate that Michigan has a song now, but you just play them all.
How about what happened in Wisconsin for the first time since
on.
2019?
Oh, come on. They are having fun.
Look at Jenny.
Look at that.
She's ready for that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, you better be watching on YouTube or on Twitter, because this is great stuff. How about the FSU
This is it.
Chop?
This is it.
All that for a loss.
How about the FSU Chop is back? By the way, Brady Quinn tweeted during this, and they say the leprechaun is offensive.
The Seminole tribe digs this. Hey.
There's some truth to this, though. There's truth and validity to that, though.
Did you see that new tunnel that was built for the Florida State players? They spent millions of dollars on that tunnel. Of course, it was donated by one of their big boosters.
Yeah.
It is lit, man, literally.
Football is better when Florida State is good.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Football is better when all the traditional teams
you're right
are good.
about
and that's
that.
what I was talking about earlier. Like, having those traditional teams, those Notre Dame being back where it's supposed to be. Florida State seeming to have figured it out. I mean, the quarterback play still was really iffy, but maybe they switched to Mackenzie Milton. But we still got another one, though.
I got one more for you.
And then I'll give my opinion.
one more for you, and I thought about Drew Lane
Big time.
with this one. Big time. Virginia,
Hokey.
Virginia Tech. How about not Mariano Rivera? It's Virginia Tech. Enter Sandman.
College football is really back when a jam-packed Lane Stadium is singing along to Enter
There's
Sandman.
no way possible to compare Michigan to those other three.
Look at this.
You're right.
That sweet ass.
Look at this.
Look at that crowd.
That's what I'm talking about. You ready to play? That's nuts.
Here they come.
And they made them wait. Made them wait.
I mean, how great is this?
Mac
Brown looked defeated.
He didn't know where his headphones were. Mac was out swinging headphones.
He was like,
They already lost.
The game was over. Mac Brown didn't know where his shit
already lost.
He's like, what is this?
They already lost.
Tootin' guys, darn, you seen my headphones?
I'll be darned.
I love Mac Brown, by
And
the way.
they still haven't hit the field yet.
Come
Make
on.
them wait.
Make
This
them
is
wait.
the art of making them wait.
Come on, Hokies.
Nah, especially they came out and got a W too.
Uh-oh. There's our savior.
Look at how's that?
And here they come.
Oh, you got the armed forces involved too.
I mean, how great is this? Here they come.
Hey, Bray, what did you tweet out to me the other day? I guess their coach isn't on the hot seat anymore.
Yeah, Fuente is definitely not on the hot seat.
Fuentes is not on the hot
after
seat.
that win. Fuente was like, what hot seat? I got something for y'all. Play the Sandman song.
Look, Braylon,
it's not even close.
You said it, though.
It's not even close. Like, I love that Michigan has a song. It's fairly new. They've only been doing it maybe the last 8 years or so, maybe even less. But it's a bright, fun song. Like, Enter the Sandman, it is time to go to war.
Yeah.
That's how you start a game. Jump around in the fourth quarter. Like, that is how you win. That's how you finish and win the game. Now, in terms of the best overall out of that, jump around is the best thing you'll see just by itself. but it's not even close. Florida State
Absolutely.
overall, like, because that's all game long. That's the start of the game. Then they do it after every quarter. They do it after every score. That is a whole environment. When Florida State is good, there's nothing like it.
If you want to escape the cancel culture, go to Tallahassee and sit in that stadium.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Florida State, when Jameis was there, when they were back on top and they won the national title, it's nothing like Florida State when Florida State is on top.
Got to eat that W. Just wait till he sees. Wait till
they
he
took
sees,
an L on that play.
Yeah, wait till he sees the Packers coming up here. But I'll tell you, look, I agree with you, Braylon.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Michigan sings a song because I do think it is some sort of feel-good something that you can enjoy, something that you can kind of look
Neil
forward
Diamond.
to. Right, it's not like Howard King saying, "Don't trash the big house."
Yeah.
In the third quarter, it's like talking about all the
get the hook, please.
And I think, and I
get the hook on that guy.
Don't
please.
trash the big house.
But I also think that Michigan is still figuring it out because they used to do Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond was the thing, and now I think they've switched to Brightside within the last 4 or 5 years. I think they're still trying to find which one will do it for them. They got to have something with a little more. You can come in here and catch a beat down as opposed to you can come in here and you can drink with us for free.
Right. I mean, look, the Florida State has to be 1. Wisconsin has to be 1A because it is. I mean, when you look at the broadcasters in the booth doing it, when you look at the sideline reporter jumping around, and she was from Wisconsin, so that she grew up with that. But I mean, come on.
The only issue with that as it relates to a full atmosphere is that's not to the start of the fourth. So what if you are getting your handed to you and they try to play jump around? We're already down like 30 or 25. Like, it's too late as it relates to a full atmosphere.
Gives people a reason to stick around.
But just a one-off, I'll take it.
Gives people a reason to stick around for the game. I do want to quickly clean up something that you had mentioned in hour number 1 of the program, Braylon. I think it should be against NCAA rules that college football teams wear a color that does not have any affiliation with their school, period. Yeah. When I see a team in all black that doesn't have black in their colors,
they don't even have black in their numbers.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. When you cannot turn on the television and distinguish who is who, what team is what school, I have a problem with that, and I do not think that's good for the game.
What team was it this week?
It was.
I don't even remember.
Michigan State has done in the past.
I don't even remember.
I forgot the team.
It was a purple team, wasn't it? Was it?
I forgot who it was.
Was it Northwestern?
It was Northwestern.
I mean, was it Northwestern with the gold? And black
maybe it was
and gold?
the gold. You're right. It did.
Like,
it said on the right here, it said in gold.
They had like yellow
just make it
or
up color.
Gold uniforms inside like the black. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what? You don't look tough. You look stupid.
I'm all for new uniforms, especially if it has some element. Like, I'll give you an example. When Ohio State came out with the black jerseys, you're like, wait, what? But when Ohio State wears certain colors, they always have black trim. Have black trim in the helmet.
Red,
have black
white,
trim.
and black.
So I understand
Scarlet
that.
And gray, or they have black,
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I can understand, like, the all black. But
Michigan
if it's
doesn't
just
have black.
like if Michigan just came up with a purple uniform, it's like, wait, no elements.
Like, what are
we
you
mixing
talking about?
blue together? Yeah. So.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
What's Michigan going to wear this Saturday night? What color do you think they'll wear? You think they'll go
hard hats and Timberland boots? We're coming to go to work. Hard hats and Timberland boots, baby.
We'll get into some Lions.
I'm wearing hard hat and Timberland.
We'll get into some Lions in about 20 minutes from now. But guys, want to look around the college football landscape and what you saw, and I'll tell you, I was almost right, dead nuts.
I'm ready.
Almost.
I'm ready.
I mean, from my Friday prediction about Oklahoma, oh boy, am I going to get that one right this year.
Almost.
We'll do it. Ermanni and Edwards, we got Maz. It is Woodward Sports Network.
Opa! Introducing Papa Romano's new Greek pizza, a tasty blend of bold Greek flavors and Mediterranean toppings, including feta cheese and Greek dressing. Get a large Greek pizza for a limited time for $16.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Hey everybody, Levels in Centerline is now open. You know that. Come experience the next level in cannabis. on Sherwood between 9 and 10 Mile. Download their app today. Start collecting points so you can level up. Search Enjoy Levels in the Apple or Google Play stores. And make sure when you stop by Levels today, tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
All right, guys. So
level up.
I want to get to this so bad. Just a quick look around college football before we get into some Lions talk. Just big picture weekend. You guys feel free to throw a game out there, whatever one you want to see. If you want us to talk about a couple of them, fine. But I have got to start with this Oklahoma team. Oklahoma, number 2 in the country. They beat Tulane 40-35, actually.
That was close.
At home, and it was Spencer Rattler, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. I don't know.
He's the savior.
Why this kid gets all the love. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why Oklahoma gets all this love. They are going to lose 2 games on accident this year.
Well,
they're not even going to have to try. They'll just lose 2. And this was a game that was supposed to be at Tulane, but because of the hurricane, moved to Oklahoma. So they're playing at home.
Actually.
Rattler throws 2 picks. It's just insane to me why Oklahoma gets all this love. They moved back this week. They were number 2. Now they moved back 2 spots despite the win to number 4 in the country.
And I think you have 2 different conversations. I think you're right and wrong. I think in terms of why they get all the love, well, they have 3 Heisman Trophy winners in the last 5 years, or 2. I take that back. They have 2 in the last 5 years. They've been to the finals 3 of the last 4 times. They just haven't gotten it done. Their offense is always high-powered. So if you bring in another guy in Spencer Rattler that you think can, answer the bell, he can be a guy that can lead you. You had Jalen Hurts, who had Heisman numbers at one point, but it's an easy offense for him to jump in and use his skill guys to carry the offense, and you're supposed to have a better defense this year. That's what the thing they sold us on in the preseason is their defensive end, their rush ends, and their linebacker play. That was going to be the difference for this Oklahoma team. Well, we didn't see that. We saw a green wave team score 35 points. So in terms of knowing why they were there, you're wrong about that. They're there because they've been consistently good on offense, and they've been consistently in the finals, Final Four. You're right because Spencer Rattler has looked erratic. Even last year, whenever he's in there, he just doesn't seem like a guy that can measure up to the pass in terms of Hurts, Baker Mayfield, and Kyler Murray. He just doesn't look like he fits into that mold. Like, too many things off the field. Like, he might have been good before the NIL. I think the NIL and everything off the field has him a little all over the place.
Just want to, Ohio State kind of took care of business against Minnesota. We talked about that. How about Penn State over Wisconsin?
On the road.
On the road.
Fourth quarter, goal line stand.
It's a really nice win for Penn State. Iowa beat Indiana handily. Indiana falls out of the top 25. Kind of surprised by
Braylon's team.
By Indiana this year. Really surprised by them.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where they were trying to see how good Penix will look after having that ACL surgery this offseason. And, he just didn't look like himself. 3 interceptions. You can tell that he's still favoring the leg. And the offense, as he goes, the offense goes. And so he didn't go well, and so they never really got started.
Temple is not a good football team at all. They are one of the worst football teams in college football right now. But I think you've got to give Rutgers a lot of credit here. I think Rutgers, with Greg Schiano as head coach, is really going to be a tough out in the Big Ten. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the Big Ten or anything crazy like that, right. But it's not a gimme win on the schedule as it was for many years.
Yeah, I mean, 61 and 61. No matter who you play, Temple has had some players in the past. So, with Schiano, they really put a beating on him.
How about Brett Bielema? I mean, you look at that Illinois team, and for all the love that
you're getting, they just beat Nebraska
for the opening week win over Nebraska. How do you lose to Texas San Antonio at home?
UTSA.
No offense to Texas San Antonio. I don't know if they're good or not.
All offense. All offense.
Lovie Smith was laughing it up on that one.
Those are some good ones. What if we stretched the college landscape and went outside the Big Ten? And we talked about that Virginia Tech and UNC game. What if we talked about Georgia and Clemson a little
Love
bit?
it. What did you get from that Georgia Clemson game? Because, I mean, on one hand, I'm thinking to myself, was Trevor Lawrence that good?
Yeah.
Like because I never found Trevor Lawrence to be this amazing player. Like he's a really good player, but I don't know if he's going to be any good in the NFL either. But like, I thought to myself, am I an idiot? Is Trevor Lawrence that good? Because that offense looked awful without him.
The big thing that when you watch that offense and who really didn't get credit is Travis Etienne, the running back who was there for 3 years at Clemson, who's now in the NFL. He's the leading rusher all-time history in the ACC while he was at Clemson. He has the most yards out of the run. He has the most yards receiving as a running back out of the backfield for the ACC all-time history. He has the most touchdowns in Clemson football history. Like, he was amazing, and he always got overshadowed because they had Deshaun Watson his first year. Then they had Trevor Lawrence for 2 years. So he was always overshadowed, not to mention you had great receiver play when Trevor Lawrence was there, as well as Deshaun Watson. You had really good receiver play. So all of the offense is now gone. And now you take out this crutch that no one ever talked about, Travis Etienne, and then you don't replace him with another Travis Etienne, somebody that can carry the load for him, and you put everything on this, the redshirt freshman 5 at quarterback, and they just don't look that good. But it's not just Trevor Lawrence; it's everything they lost cumulatively, including Travis Etienne, who's been could arguably considered the best running back in ACC history.
And I think now you've got to look too, Maz. Kirby Smart said at Georgia that 3 players have tested positive for COVID. He did not identify which 3 players they were, but we'll see where they're at today or in tomorrow, and if there's any more positives with the Georgia Bulldogs. But that's an aspect of college football and pro football in general this year that we're really just unsure of how it will affect teams moving forward. So Clemson Georgia, number 3 in the country, they moved up to number 2 in the country. Yeah. They may have who knows how many guys out this week. That's where college football is going to be interesting this year too. You just don't know if the same Georgia team that showed up to beat Clemson is going to be the team that takes the field this week.
I tell you what, Georgia and Clemson, especially Georgia, it doesn't matter who's showing up and who's not showing up. They better find a way to put some points on the board, because I don't think Clemson's defense was that good in terms of holding them to the few points that they did. As on the flip side, I know Georgia's defense is that good, and then Clemson doesn't have an offense like that. But Georgia better find some offense, because all that trying to hold every team to under 20 points, and you scoring under 20 points as well. Kirby Smart, that's not going to play well when you get into the thick of your season and the bigger games.
Next 2 games at home for Georgia, at home against UAB, and then at home SEC game against South Carolina.
We haven't even talked about the number 1 team in the country in Alabama. They throttle Miami of Florida.
Plug and play.
They're unbelievable. Well, everyone's playing for second, I think.
Yeah,
it's like playing for second.
It's like Brady Quinn told us. He said that Bryce was going to win the Heisman Trophy. He said he could possibly win 2 Heisman Trophies. And you look at how he opened up the season, 344, 4 touchdowns. I mean,
sick.
They don't miss a beat in Alabama in that backfield. Now, the only cause for concern I did have when I watched that game, for as many times, Maz, as they rushed the ball, they didn't have a lot of rushing yards. And that's something that's never been in question in Alabama and Tuscaloosa. You've had, last year you had Harris, then you had Trent Richardson, Mark Ingram, you had Derrick Henry over the years, TJ Yeldon. Like, you've always had a secure backfield. Big guy Eddie Lacy from Green Bay Packers. For as many rushing yards, for many of his rushing attempts that they took, I want to say they took 28 rushing attempts on Saturday. They only had 40 rushing yards, 21. They only had 62 rushing yards. That's something that I haven't seen in a long time, and that's something that they need to shore up.
That's week 1.
But still, they had a lot of rushes. Now, if they would have had 62 rushes on 10 carries, then I would say, okay, I wouldn't have paid it attention. But you're talking 28 rush attempts, and you're talking 62 yards. That's something just to put in the back as a little mental note.
And I think, too, you look at the Alabama as the plug-and-play. I mean, it doesn't even matter who they have anymore. I mean, they're just going to pulverize you. They're just going to pulverize you. UCLA, I think they should get some notification, some love as well. They have moved up in this AP top 25 now. I just lost it, but I think they're number 16, I want to say they jumped into. Yeah. They were unranked, and then they beat number 13 LSU. Here's UCLA checking in at number 16 this week. And I think that Chip Kelly is fighting for his job, and I think so far so good if you're UCLA.
Yeah, the good thing is You're seeing a consistent now. We've talked about the great play this past Saturday. You're talking about rushing the football. You see what Michigan was able to do. You see what Michigan State was able to do. Well, here's another example of that. Brown and Charbonnet for UCLA, they combined for 28 carries, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They're rushing the football well, not to mention the quarterback, Thompson Robinson, DTR, 9 for 16, 260. And 3 touchdowns. Like, this is a balanced offense. He can throw the ball. He can throw the ball, get the ball out. He uses his legs a little bit as well. And then you have Brown and Charbonnet, former University of Michigan running back. You have them in the backfield. It's consistency. You're playing on both sides. Offense, you're playing rushing, and you're passing the ball well. They're putting the Pac-12 on notice, man.
Hey, guys, I want to make a slight correction to something I said earlier about the AP Top 25 poll. I was looking at the coaches poll that had Michigan as number 27.
That's the old UPI.
Yeah, that is. The AP poll just came out. It has Michigan 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Michigan State 32, 33, 34.
Oh, wow.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
That was a huge jump. That's a big jump for Michigan State because if I'm correct, they were ranked 64 to start the season, and now they're at 34. That's a well-deserved jump for them. And I like that they kept Michigan at the 31 because I think often or not, sometimes you'll sneak them into that 23 spot so that they can kind of ease their way up. They don't deserve to be in that spot right now. Like, I like them at 31. Let's keep the progress so when they get there, they'll have earned that.
Coaches poll and the AP poll, same teams at the top: Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Clemson, the top 6 teams. AP poll has Cincinnati 7, and the coaches poll has Notre Dame 7.
I think your favorite, Iowa State, they kind of struggled this past week.
And if I may as well,
here we go.
Good for these teams. Notre Dame going on the road to play Florida State. Clemson and Georgia playing each other. UCLA
Penn State, Wisconsin.
taking LSU. Penn State, Wisconsin, that's a
it's an interconference.
That's a conference game. I mean, I'm looking at UCLA, LSU,
UCLA. Okay.
Yeah, Notre Dame, Florida State, Georgia, and Clemson,
Miami,
Bama, and Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, good for college football. I don't think any team that lost a game this week is out of any national championship or college football playoff because of how they have competed, how they have scheduled their games. This is why college football is great.
Looking at the ACC, you look at the loss by Clemson, and like you said, they didn't lose to that much to Georgia. So who's to say they won't figure it out as they trudge along? First-year quarterback Fugalu, but the ACC looks like it's up for shakes. Like, it's up for shakes and grabs. Like, before the season, we just, hey, Clemson's going to get it again. Some people had talked about North Carolina being the team to challenge them like they did 4 years ago at ACC Championship. Well, you see North Carolina lost to Virginia Tech handily. And that's the word we're using, in terms of not allowing them to score. Is Virginia Tech, and you see Miami got trounced by Bama. Is Virginia Tech the team to look at now?
I'll tell you who to look at in the ACC, and you ain't going to want to hear it.
Who is this?
Florida State. Even though they lost to Notre Dame.
It was a good game, though.
Even though they lost to Notre Dame, that is a football team that is going to get better as they go.
I agree. I like what they did in the fourth.
I really like Florida State.
If you look, and this is the deal about Florida State, if you look at the second half, 4 sacks in the second half, 18-3, they beat Notre Dame in the second half. Like, they came back to beat Notre Dame. Like, they played a great second half. It's like they calmed down. They got into a rhythm. And Cone and all the damage that he did and Notre Dame did, that was all first half for the most part. That was all first half.
Mackenzie Milton. What a story.
Yeah, Mackenzie Milton.
It's like Alex Smith, the rebirth of Alex Smith, what this kid is doing. And who's not going to root for him?
Like, he had, to be able to come back in the journey that he's had, and we watched that, and it was ugly. It was an ugly injury too, man.
Sure
so to get back, what you got for us, Fish? What you got for us, Fish?
Ryan, you talk about how you love the Week 1 matchups of good teams. I do too.
I do.
Has someone figured out why the SEC every year does Week 11, which is November 13? Alabama's playing New Mexico State, and Florida's playing Samford. Has anyone figured that out?
They do it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they do their mid-season bye week, essentially.
That's what it is.
Because it heats up. I think once you get into that real schedule, like games, like it gets on the roll and you don't have that game to take a break anymore. It's like running in one after another, and they schedule it so that they get to the end of the season. It's like I have that game and we can kind of relax, chill a little bit, get some of our second, third string guys in too, so that we can hit the next game and the rest of the stretch hard.
That's a bye week.
Yeah.
That is a bye week. Hey, guys, I want to take a break, get into some Lions talk next, and then 6 minutes from now, we have a pretty big announcement we want to make. We'll do that next. This is Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Papa Romano's handcrafts pizza that made them a Detroit favorite for over 50 years. And I'm not blowing smoke because I've been eating Papa Romano's pizza for 38 years. So I'm almost close to 50. Not really. House-made dough, hand-cut veggies, and fresh cheese make the difference. The same quality goes into all their pizzas. You hear that? All of them. So if you got a vegetarian pizza, same quality. If you got a meat lover pizza, same quality. Greek pizza, same quality. Subs, salads, and pitas. Order now. PapaRomanos.com.
All right, Braylon, we're jumping.
I want some pizza.
I do too, man. I mean, and if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube or wherever you may be watching, you're getting a look at that Papa Romano's pizza.
You
and
almost said the other brand. I don't like that.
No, I did not almost say that. It just looks phenomenal. I want some pizza.
I'm telling you, this is not a Shaq brand over here. This is Papa Romano's, baby, and I want some right now.
Well, you know where to go for the hookup, Maz.
Maz got the hookup and didn't tell us?
I mean, he does everything pizza.
Oh, man.
Are you still walking in with like 8 boxes of pizza, Maz?
I haven't recently, but it sounds good. Maybe tomorrow.
Sounds like some BS.
Well, let's talk about today and let's talk about Sunday. We have in studio with us, we've got our friend Jade, the program director, PD at Riff, 101.1 on your FM dial. She is the midday host as well. She's got a lot of titles, a lot of hats over there.
Yes.
So, Jade, what is happening over there at Riff?
Well, obviously the rock and roll in the Motor City, but coming up this football season, super excited to announce what we have going on with you guys. The official pregame rock and roll show on 101 WRAF.
Oh, man.
So.
Ooh, yeah, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
This Sunday.
This is great after going to the Guns N' Roses concert. We're locked in.
I mean, we are locked in. So talk to us about this. So every Sunday for Lions home games, we are going to be at the Tin Roof downtown across from Comerica Park and Ford Field. We're going to be right in the middle of it all. A joint pregame show, Woodward Sports and Riff.
Yes, yeah. So basically I get to share my football knowledge with you guys, and I'm nervous.
Oh, come on.
Because I feel like Braylon's going to know a lot more. Ryan, you're going to know a lot more than I do. But
I don't know anything. I just
Ryan
think
doesn't know anything. He just loves the Lions and the Michigan Wolverines. He's an optimist. He knows nothing.
Okay, cool.
I'm joking.
Now, every year, Jade, I think the Lions are going to make it to the Super Bowl, but this year I don't think that. I think this is going to be a development year, and then next year we'll win the Super Bowl.
It's like reverse. You're playing like mental reverse psychology with yourself.
That's exactly what I'm doing. But it's just going to be fun down there. We want people to come down, too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everyone's more than welcome to come down the first couple of games, at least until it's cold outside. We know how the weather is here in Detroit.
It's the best time.
Yeah, we're going to be set up outside right there on the patio. The Tin Roof is a fantastic location for a pregame show, and we're going to be down there doing the rock side of football fans, because that's kind of the point, right? Riff listeners, we love our football. We love our Lions. We're heartbroken every year. We feel that pain, Ryan.
Every week.
Every week, every year. And so we just want to have some fun with it.
But, Jay, this is a wonderful partnership, too, because I think, being in Detroit and football fans, we have such a fandom here with the Lions. And whether you like football or not, whether you're the biggest football fan or not, it is a party down there, and not too many people do a party better than Riff.
And rock music. Right. I think it goes well. Like, I think this partnership goes well because Detroit's a big rock city, hence the song Detroit Rock City, as well as the NFL element of it. Huge Lions fans. It's going to be great. I'm excited to mix the two together and just sit there and just let you do all the work. I'll let you do all the work.
No, but a lot of it, I mean, we're going to talk. We're going to be chatting with fans. You guys are going to be set up down there. We'll be set up down there. We'll have our things happening. And look, it's just going to be a big party down there. And this is something we did not get to do last year. There were no fans at Ford Field last year. And as we saw the atmospheres all around college football, stadiums everywhere, including 109,000 at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Jade, we're going to see 65,000 plus people at Ford Field for the first time since 2019, and I think that's a big deal, and that's something to be celebrated as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think that a lot of people are just excited to get out and support our team and support the city and go out and see each other again, because like you said, whether or not, I've worked Lions tailgates for years down at various places, and there's so many people that just want to come down that don't even go to the game, that just want to be a part of whatever's happening. So if we can bring a little fun to this, I think it's going to be great.
This is the Tin Roof, and it's the old Jelly's Chili Bar. Yep. So that's where we're going to be at. We'll be outside. You can't get a better location, right by Comerica and Ford Field. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to have Kennedy be with us, Kennedy Broadwell. It's like our little sideline reporter out with the fans. Us three guys will be there. We'll have other people popping in. We're going to go to the stadium live. We're going to do lots of stuff, get you up on your fantasy sports as well.
And I want to invite people out to come share in the experience of Lions Game Day with us, because a big part of Lions tailgating for the last 20 years is now closed. Eastern Market will have no tailgating allowed on their premises. So if you're looking for a new spot, if you go to games for the last 20 years, if you're looking for a party, it is Tin Roof. That is the place to be. We are out there. We are outside. Some people might be worried about going inside the places. We're going to be outside having a party. Yeah. So we got all the drinks and all the food you can ever want.
Plus, they've got their rooftop as well, which I don't know if you guys have been up to the rooftop on the old tin roof.
I have, Jade. I have. I don't remember much. But still, I loved it up there.
Yeah, it's a great place to party, so it should be a lot of fun.
Than I am. A little more forward with the info than I am. I'm quiet. No, but that's actually the type of guy I am. I like tailgating. I like tailgating over actually going to the games. Like with Eastern Market, I would go down to the Detroit games. I would go to Eastern Market. I would have a good time. I would run into 1,000 people that I knew, and it was just fun. And then not even go to the games. Same with Michigan. I like going to, we talked about Steve Savarino's house across the street, talking about the alumni tailgates, your golf course. And then I go home. I'm home by halftime, or I'm home before the game even starts. I love the tailgate. So to bring the tailgate back and actually be a part of it with Riff, man, I'm excited.
And for us too at Woodward Sports, it's really an honor. We're to be affiliated with such an iconic station in Detroit, right? I mean, here we are, little old us, Woodward Sports, trying to just get our feet on the ground here. We haven't been around for a full year yet, and
they're getting there.
And we're just trying to make an impact, and I think we're doing that slowly but surely. And having a partnership with Beasley and Riff, I mean, my goodness, we're getting there fast. So we appreciate you guys taking a chance on us as well and wanting to partner with us, because I think it could be a mutually beneficial relationship. We're going to have a lot of fun on this pregame show. We're going to entertain you. We're going to inform you. And most of all, we're going to have that F word, that fun.
I was so scared.
What F word are we talking
about?
It's
just it's an exciting thing, because I do feel like kind of on the ground level here as we're building this thing up, and to be associated with the fine folks at Riff, I just think this is a slam dunk, home run, touchdown, however you want to say it for us.
Triple D.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
The post.
And maybe we'll get you the picks. We'll get you some fantasy insight. There's
inside
a lot of that going on.
That's illegal.
There's a lot. Yeah, we've kind of looked through and seen what we can do to try and help our fans, because over the years, Riff has done some pick'em leagues and some things like that, and they've got questions, and I'm like, I always go with the Lions, and everyone makes fun of me. I always pick them to win every week. I'm usually disappointed, but hopefully not this year.
Well, Jade, take the points. take the points.
Right.
Isn't that as a general rule of thumb? Whenever in question, take the points.
Yes, absolutely.
Well,
Take the points.
Jade, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is such a great thing. We're looking forward to it. So beginning at 11 o'clock on Lions Game Days, watch for us here on Woodward Sports, but listen to us on Riff 101.1 on your FM dial. 101.1. How do what's the how do we, let me
101.
101.1. How do we say it?
101 WRIF.
101 WRIF.
Detroit's rock
Thank
station.
You. All right, coming from the PD. I should have asked that before we got on.
She was like, hey,
before
come to me, come to me.
I will never ask you that again, Jade. I will say from now.
She's like, look at me. I'm the captain now.
Right, exactly. Jade, thanks so much, guys. So look forward to that. Woodward Sports and Riff Lions Game Days. We will be back. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, right here on Woodward Sports. It is just a great day, and we hope everybody out there kind of hangs out with us and grows with us as well, as we just announced the Lions, Woodward Sports, Riff. It's going to be fun on Lions Game Day. And let me mention Lions Game Day. Lions 7.5-point underdogs getting ready to host the 49ers at Ford Field on Sunday. So Dan Campbell, one of the big question marks, guys, is will he or won't he regarding DeAndre Swift. Will he play, won't he play? Dan Campbell says everybody should be ready to go. And I think that gave Lions fans a little bit of hesitation because it's not a, oh, yeah, he's ready to go kind of thing. But, you know, at some point, it doesn't matter who's available or not available. You got to play the game with the guys you got. And if DeAndre Swift isn't available, I'm sorry. The Lions aren't the only team in the National Football League that are faced with these problems, with these issues. You got to go out there and play with the guys you got.
You definitely have to play with the guys' job, 100%. Like the guys that are in front of you, the guys that are available, the guys that are on the scouting report, the guys that have no nicks and nags, and you're trying to wait for them to come in. You know, kind of like what Dallas is doing with Zach Martin. Stop worrying about is he going to play or not. And they're loaded. They're ready to play with the guys they have. So I think us as journalists and as fans, we just want to hear something different. Like we want to hear DeAndre Swift isn't playing or DeAndre Swift is playing. So I think he's delaying it. This is the first time I've seen him kind of delay some knowledge or kind of drag or play the game as most coaches that are experienced and do in the NFL. So I'm eager to like, what is that drag about ultimately? But if DeAndre Swift is not ready to go this Sunday against the 49ers, then you have to play the next guy. You have to play the guys, but you have to get them ready. So I hope he's getting them ready.
Stupid question, Braylon Edwards, and
Stupid
I am the
coming.
king of the stupid questions for you. But there is one person on this desk that played in the National Football League, and it wasn't me.
Who's that?
So if you're DeAndre Swift and you haven't played a lick of preseason all year, but you are ready to go week one, game one, 49ers, how in shape are you? How in game shape are you to play a National Football League game? How long does it take for you to get your legs, for you to get your wind, for you to get, ready to play an actual football game?
I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter how good of shape you're in. It doesn't matter how much you've been on the track or you've been on the field and you've been in the weight room. There's no such thing as game shape. Like there's no, I take that back. There's no substitution for game shape. Game shape means in training camp, you have guys having the chance to, do 2-minute drills in pads. Have those practices where they get tired and they get winded because it's hot and it's humid in August, end of July, early August, leading into September. Like those guys, they're ready because they feel that, they play through that. They know that second wind. Like you're playing to get that second wind to kick in fast. With someone like DeAndre Swift who hasn't played all of training camp, he doesn't have that second wind gear kicking in fast, which means when he gets in there and he has a couple plays, he'll be gassed. no matter how good of shape he's in. So luckily, they have a two-headed monster at running back. They have a two-head system, so it'll allow him to get some rest in between plays, and you bring him in as you need. But it's going to take him a while. It's going to take him a couple games to really be able to have that game shape. He'll be in shape, not game shape.
And for the lay people out there, Maz, I think the best way we could kind of compare the, what it's like to be in game shape would be just look at our own buffet on Lions game day, right? Week one, you might have some wings, but then week 2, you might start introducing some wings and a sub. And then week 3, you go wing, sub, and maybe a pizza. And then week 4, maybe you do wing, sub, pizza, and some breadsticks.
Sounds
you just
good.
keep adding into your game shape routine.
And then week 6 is no longer the camera's fault for adding weight. It's you. It's us. We've added our own weight.
Week 7, you might take a bye week and have a salad, perhaps.
I don't think so.
It is a progression for us as fans as well on what we're going to add to the menu.
I don't know if you're going to be able to depend on DeAndre Swift. I just don't think you can. So, the proof is in the pudding so far. It reminds me of Kerryon Johnson. And I know Kerryon had that injury going out of bounds. I remember the game. I saw his knee buckle that game. I can't remember who they were playing. But it's just, I hate to say it, it's just Lions luck right now. They drafted a guy who's supposed to be a top 3 running back, and he just can't stay on the field. Look for a lot of Jamal Williams this year.
And that's why you signed Jamal Williams, right? I mean, every team deals with it. You deal with injury problems. You play with the guys you got. You play with the guys you got available to you.
What was the last bell cow you had here?
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry
But the
Sanders.
other thing about it, too, is that's what you're starting to see in NBA. You're starting to see that in football. And even in MLB, is coaches are resting their players. Like, coaches are giving their players maybe more rest time than they need. Players are speaking up more and saying, no, I don't think I can go today. So how much of it is that versus, actually really being injured, actually not being hurt, or wanting to not practice, being allowed not to practice, and he's really going to be ready when the game starts. With the Lions' luck, well, we haven't had a running back in a long time, so it could be the latter. But I wonder if that's part of it.
Alex, throw up the tweet on the Lions captains if you could, too, because I'm curious, Braylon, we talk about
it's a lot of captains.
Yeah, we talk about captains in the college game and how important it is to a program. How important is it to an NFL team who the captains are? Because for a guy like me, I would say it isn't at all. I mean, as a professional player, I'd like to believe that you're accountable to yourself, you're accountable to your teammates, you're accountable to the coaches and everybody else. And it doesn't matter who is the captain. Is that just me being silly, or is that accurate?
No, it's just not as big as it is in college football. But I tell you what, the name Ray Lewis, and what do you think about when you hear Ray Lewis? Leadership. You like certain players that lead, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, they're leaders. They also wear that C. Derrick Henry is now like a young leader down there with the Tennessee Titans, as well as Tannehill. But that C means something. It doesn't mean necessarily as much as it does in college. College, it's a bigger deal because it also goes to how fast players mature. Some players are much more mature than others in college. In the NFL, it's like whoever's quarterback is going to be the captain, and whoever's linebacker is going to be the captain. It's simple. But in those moments when you need that talk, when you need that pep, you got to have that guy. Like, when Tom Brady yells at guys on the sideline and he goes off, in that moment they need that. And then they go out, look at a Super Bowl, 28-3, what they did against the Falcons. Or you look at Ray Lewis in the Super Bowl when the lights go off in New Orleans against the 49ers. He was able to have that, hey, we're 20 minutes away. We on the way. Do you want a ring? Like, you hear that and you like, well, I want a ring. So I think it's more important to the players than it is the people in the NFL.
It's funny because today, and I wish I knew where it came from because I'd like to give whoever posted it credit, but I saw on Twitter today somebody posted an interview with Joe Buck and Ed Reed, the Hall of Fame safety from the Baltimore Ravens, and he talked about how it was really important to him in the Ravens locker room that guys took care of their own business. Like, for him, he was personally offended if a player dropped his towel at his locker and didn't throw it in the bin, or took his socks off and left it right out in front of it.
They should talk to my daughters.
Instead of throwing it in the laundry bin, because he was like, who are we to just have somebody, volunteering around the facility to come pick up our socks or pick up our towels when the bin was right there? And the moral of the story, as Ed Reed tells it, is if you want to be champions, you have to do the little things. Don't leave the socks at the foot of your stool. Put them in the wash bin for then for the guys to then wash it at that point. Don't make people clean up after you. You got a wrapper. Don't throw it on the ground. Throw it in the trash. And it sounds so simple, but it was just kind of a little reminder to guys to do the little things around the locker room, and those little things add up to a big thing. And he said they won the Super Bowl that year. He had that talk in the locker room.
Awesome.
No, he's real, and it's very similar. I remember being in Cleveland. It wasn't like that. You know, it was very. You know, it's like that where guys just drop towels or drop bags or do whatever. You drop your hamper and you don't put it in the you don't put your laundry bag in the hamper, and you do things of that nature. Versus when I was with New York, when I was in Seattle, versus when I was in San Francisco. Winning places, we all went to conference championships when I was at those teams. They did the little things just like that, and you were able to see the difference.
But again, you didn't need to be named a captain in the NFL or anything like that to have that ability or that propensity to lead.
But sometimes you need to have that C so you can kind of establish who's a captain. Like, I'll give you an example. In Seattle, Russ was named captain his second year. And it was only his second year he was named captain. But you have Russ as captain, and you also have Marshawn Lynch as captain. But then when Marshawn talks and Russ talks, like if you don't have the C on your chest and you try to lead or you try to cut, sometimes it becomes
yin and yang.
It becomes this rivalry, it becomes this battle where it's like, well, I don't have a C on my chest, but I don't need one. I do X, Y, and Z, and I can lead whenever I need to. Or I have a C. I shouldn't be able to lead. So if you feel like a guy should be captain, just make him captain too, so you don't have to deal with that.
Just look at a guy like Steve Yzerman. He wore that C. You were all stepping behind Steve Yzerman. He's the boss. He was the guy that you looked up to. Derek Jeter with the Yankees, same thing. He's there 20 years. Yeah. Nothing bad happened in those 20 years because he was the captain of the ship.
And those
you picked the right guy. Go ahead. You picked the right guy. You said Ed Reed and guys like that. You get behind those guys, man. You know, you follow what they do.
And a lot of those guys, too, Maz, Braylon, and this is no different from just a boss at a regular old job. You can't ask your employees to do something you're not willing to do yourself. And Ed Reed, you know, Steve Yzerman, insert leader here. They're willing to do the little things to get you to the promised land. Guys, we're going to do videos of the day.
Uh-oh.
There is a great one, too, that you got to stick around for. I want to see if Braylon had anything like this ever happen to him while he was in the NFL. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
No.
Why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Hey guys, it's Maz for QL. How about them? You want a sports book? You want to own your sports book? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll ever know and ever need to make smart bet. BetQL's best bet computer. They model scan 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best recommendations on what game to play and the reason why you should do it. Plus, their platform's got the data and analytics you'll need for your own betting research. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now. Download BetQL to get started. Make sure you use WSN at checkout. You get 25% off any of their subscription offerings. Make sure to check out their special offer in the video description in order to receive a free year of BetQL. Don't miss out on a chance to beat your sports book this football season. We all want to do it.
Y'all want to do it. That's not the y'all want to do it, but can you do it? Some of you may want to try, some of you may not. I digress. I love this video. I don't like this video. I love this video.
Why do you love this video so
Because
much?
I just think that when I think of NFL practices, when I think of things happening in the NFL, I think this kind of stuff happens, and it makes me smile that it actually happens. Here's Andy Reid giving Harrison Butker one shot at a 64-yard field goal to take Monday off. Take a look.
I'm going to bring him up. Tell him to stay loose. I'm going to bring him up. I'm going to let him kick for the Monday off. But Andy's going to give you one shot. He makes it. and we have Monday off. Right? No pressure, bud. Have at it, brother.
Yo, one field goal block. I want to see you do it, but you was born for this. Hey, it's an NFL record. It's an NFL record.
If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, Harrison Butker got one kick to make from 64 yards out to give the team a chance for the day off.
Those
he did it, split the uprights. Braylon, I'll come to you. Anything like that happen to you ever?
Yeah, this happens all the time in training camp. You know, you have a coach say, you know, bring out a guy and see can he throw the ball a certain amount of yards, or you bring the field goal kicker out and see can he make it from 64, which is the NFL record, so they always have it there, or hit the crossbar. There's a bunch of things they do, and most times it's no BS where, you know, he had the first attempt and it's like, oh, he missed it. Well, we'll give him another attempt. No, you get one. And that's a special day off for us, man. When you're not expecting it, and it always comes right when you need it. Coaches are pretty, especially guys like Andy Reid, they're always pretty good with it. I hit a throw from 70 yards out before to give us the day off. So
that makes you feel good.
70 yards.
What if he misses that, though?
Does that show you what a good team that is? That's a together team. You're not going to see that, I don't think, on every single team.
Well,
that's a together winning team.
Yeah, but we don't see what happens if Butker misses that field goal, and then the team falls apart, and they never want to see Butker's face again.
No, I've been on some bad teams that have done things like this. I've been on some good teams that have done things like this. I think most teams have an element of this at some point during training camp. So, and sometimes it's a setup just to have some fun, and they already going to give you a day off anyway, but yeah, it's a good thing. You see that was a deep kick too.
I'm telling you,
that was a
I
flip.
love it. Matt, set me up for the next two.
You got it. The next one is also a field goal. I think it's a pee-wee game. I hope it's a pee-wee game, but check out this field goal try.
There you go. You're good there.
What's he doing? What?
Show that again, Alex.
What in the world?
What was that?
I don't understand why the guy in the green doesn't do anything.
He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. Cue that up again, Alex.
He got in there and he couldn't figure it out. Let me see.
Look, his snap was good.
All right.
The kid gets all the way in.
I'm going to pay full attention this time.
He should have just dove on the ball. That would have been his ball. Look, he stops. He didn't know what to do.
Should have picked it up and started running the other way.
That's all.
It's so
great.
great.
I just thought it was a cute video.
We had to play summer that in the Rose Bowl when we played Texas. Ernest Shazar, who played on left end, the left rush end, they ended up making the field goal to win the game. But left rush end, the right tackle didn't block. He didn't block down to Ernest. He blocked in. So when Ernest came off the line of scrimmage, like there was no one there to block him to block the field goal, and he stuttered. He kind of hesitated. He was like, and took off. And then the ball actually clipped off his shoulder pad. Like if you ever watch the highlight, I'll find it. The ball clips off the shoulder pad and it goes in and they win the game. If he wouldn't have paused and just ran in there and tackled him, we would have won the game.
Oh, man. Some of the great names in Michigan football. I mean, Ernest Shazar. All right, one more, Maz. Give it to me. I remember this like the back of my hand.
Go back to 1995 with President Clinton in the audience, actually in the broadcast booth. The Iron Horse moves over for this Iron Horse. Cal Ripken breaks Lou Gehrig's record.
2 nights ago, Mark Holzheimer last night. He clobbers it to deep left field. Going, and gone!
I'll never forget. I mean, I got goosebumps now, Maz, just looking at it. And I'll never forget those flash bulbs that you kind of miss now with everybody doing it on their cell phones.
Yeah, you know it.
In a big moment. I mean, go back to the final out at Tiger Stadium against the Royals, I mean, and see all the flash bulbs go off. That is one of the things that you miss about cell phones now today.
After every pitch. Remember, they were trying to get that last pitch.
Unbelievable.
It happened about 5-6 times before Todd Jones finally got that last out. But 2,632 games, in a row. That record will never, ever be touched.
Yeah.
Not even allowed to.
Nope.
I mean, does anybody do 162 anymore?
No.
Is there a? I mean, what's the record now for consecutive games played? 40?
66.
Hey, just a side note: when Lou Gehrig ended his
Ichiro was close before he started getting hurt.
When Lou Gehrig ended his streak, do you know where he ended it?
Baltimore.
No.
Detroit.
Tiger Stadium.
I remember the closest thing I'll ever come to ending a streak, and it wasn't even a streak, but I was a kid.
Oh,
and when,
God. Here you go again.
Well, what I'm
did
saying
you
is,
do?
when we were growing up, we only went to like 1 or 2 Tigers games a year. You know, I mean, we're just regular old people that, you know, you save up, you buy some money to tickets, and you go to a game. We got to go to like 1 or 2 games a year. So Alan Trammell was my favorite player growing up. One of them. I loved all those guys, so I shouldn't say Alan Trammell was my favorite.
Lou Whitaker.
But Trammell sat the game we went to one year for this guy to come up from AAA named Travis Fryman.
Oh, I love
and
Fryman.
Travis Fryman got the start at shortstop that day. It was his major league debut, Travis Fryman. But I was so disappointed that the game we went to, Alan Trammell didn't play. So I always remember that.
Yeah.
You know, when all these NBA guys are sitting or somebody's sitting, that some kid like little old Ryan Ermanni growing up is going to that arena for the first time in his life and is so disappointed that his favorite player isn't playing. I think about that still. It's amazing what
load management.
Yeah. NBA, NHL, football. Well, not so much football because unless you're hurt, you're playing.
Yeah. But would you rather? But see, like the way they explain that to the kids is, would you rather your kids? Would you rather that kid see a win and everybody play, or would you rather that kid see his team win a championship because they load managed the right way all season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
it's still some BS.
Yeah, it's right. I don't think that kid.
I want to see the guy that came to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't think that kid understands.
Then he got
that
hurt.
at all, right? It's 6, 7, 8 years old. But anyway, hey, Braylon, this is great. Again, guys, we're very excited to announce our partnership with Riff on Lions game days. We're going to be at Tin Roof, Lions home games, a partnership that we will have. Woodward Sports and Riff. Can't wait. Lions game day. See you on September 12th down there at 11 a.m. this Sunday. And we will see you tomorrow night. No.
What was that?
Jackpot. We'll see you tomorrow night.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Braylon, great day out of you, baby.
Appreciate it, man.
Oh,
bring it in.
Oh, look at that stretch.
Go fight, win.
That's a little too far down there.
Too far there, man. All right,
It's
good.
like the Detroit Fizz. It was like.
Hey, guys, share the show with a friend. Tell them about us. We'd love to see you on Woodward Sports Network.
4-man rush on 3rd and 25. Out of the pocket, McCarthy keeps the play alive. Long throw across the field. He drops it.